there's some traffic congestion with Macedonia Elementary School. I've been there several times, or a few times, before school and after school, just to see what the traffic looked like. Okay, I'm not cutting anybody down. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, there was a stop in traffic for, 5-6 minutes, something like that. But anyway, there's going to be a widening there, and they've asked us to contribute. The cost of that widening is $1.5 million. That's the estimate. They've asked us to kick in half of it. Okay, I know. We just see dollar signs going. I'm like, okay, whatever. We'll do it. And so here's the zoning breakdown map. This blue area right here is what is O and I, office, institutional, religious only. The green right there will remain agricultural. There's a buffer right here on the south side, a 100-foot buffer that we've agreed to, and the yellow right there is residential. So that was the way the zoning worked out. The county's on board with that. We're on board with that. So we took care of that. And then we hired an architect to help us out. He's been on board anyway to help us with the site planning and what kind of footprint can we put on there and whatever. Well, why didn't we zone the property religious? It was called a SLUP, a special land use permit. Why didn't we do that? Because Cherokee County and their ordinances says if you zone something for worship, that your footprint is maximum of 10,000 square feet. This building is 7,000 square, not 7, but 6,000 square feet. So anyway, we need to get the square footage on this. I need it for the appraisal. But anyway, we'll measure and just count the ceiling tiles. We know. You ever want to know how somebody goes in and figures out how big a building is? They just count the ceiling tiles and do the math. It's not, those are 2x4. It's not that hard. Okay. So anyway, that's what David was doing. He was counting right there. So we have, this is phase 1 site plan. So the architects help us develop this. Includes a right in, right out on Highway 20, a multi-purpose building, some parking in the back. I have not shown the driveway going over to East Cherokee on the right side yet. We want to do it in the best way we can with the neighbors. Okay, so one time we had it a little bit further south. They didn't like that, and that's what caused this last change in that. But the multi-purpose building, worship space is a little under 30,000 square feet, contains worship and parish hall, 14 classrooms, a day chapel, which is really cool, administration area, kitchen, nursery, and 208 parking places, but there's another 108 in the future church area. So we should have, we can at least gravel and have 300 parking places in there. You all know what parking's like here. I don't even need to say anything, right? Okay. There's a partial site plan right there. So this just shows the building. On the left right there, it's exaggerated, but that's a detention pond. Okay, all of our stormwater has to go somewhere. And so that's what it is. If you see A right there, the outline right there, that is the future sanctuary church building. So we'll build the multi-purpose building, worship space, and then we'll build the basilica after that. So that's the way it normally happens when you build a new parish. Okay, there's a floor plan for the building. So I sat down with the architect based on experience that I've had before and being here for a couple of years. Well, what are we going to need in a building? Okay, so classroom space, we're maxing these out. Want a kitchen, better than that one. Okay. I'm not complaining, Ed, but when we built St. Clair, we put in a class kitchen. If you've ever been, did you go down there and see that? Okay. Yeah, it's a really nice, I sent a picture to my brother who's a professional cook, and he's like, that's in a church? Wow, that's really good. I said, well, I used to design kitchens and restaurants, okay, so I know how to do it, okay? I stamped a lot of drawings. But anyway, so a kitchen, adoration chapel, reception area. Right here, I don't really like movable partitions, but we put them in here in these 3 bottom rooms right there, so we could have some social events right there. Can hold, it says about 100. It can actually do a little bit more than that, depending on how you lay it out. I've done that when I was at Ackward. It works well. So, and the room next to it, there's supposed to be another door there. So the idea is if you walk through, say we have an event here where we're serving food or whatever, you could walk through here. This will be a serving line. In this room, you go back out and then you go into that area right there. So trying to think it out, multi-purpose. The nursery can double as a green room for the bride because it has a toilet in it. Okay, it's got a short toilet in it, but that's okay. All right, so I did that before. We just took all the toys, we put them up in one area and used that. And then there's a parlor or the conference room we can put the guys in when we have a wedding there, okay? All right. This is a perspective of the front elevation right there. So originally we were looking at doing a pre-engineered steel building. There's some economics to that, but with the energy code, the way it is today, you lose a lot of the economics of doing a pre-engineered metal building. So this will be more conventional. This will be a steel frame with bar joists on a flat roof in the back and light gauge metal roof trusses, so we can do a conventional roof. It'll look nice. I really didn't want to do a metal roof if we didn't have to, because every building that the diocese has built, well, every building, period, has roof leaks, but especially the metal ones. Okay, so let's try to stay away from that. There's a flyover perspective right there. Another flyover right there. So there's a flat roof on the side over the classroom space and that. We'll put the mechanical stuff up there. Jillian was happy because, oh, is it in here? Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, her little VW Atlas is right there. Okay. So I think the architect did a pretty good job with that. So this is where we are. It's not done. There's some things that can change as we move along in the process, but we needed a starting point so we can put together a budget and what's going on there. So this is these are the expenses that we have incurred to date on the property acquisition. Earnest money, there's 3 sellers, $50,000 a piece for earnest money that we gave them. Comes off the price when we go to closing. Our legal and attorney fees thus far have been a little over $45,000. The architect, his work, he's done a lot of work, okay, doing land planning. What are we going to get on here? He's come to county meetings with us and everything. I thought that was actually a little light. Full disclosure, I met the architect at St. Joseph, my first assignment after I was ordained. He used to work for CDH, the group that designed phase 1 here back in 2011, and started his own group there. He's a church architect. I used to design churches, pre-engineer building churches. So it's naturally we would gravitate to each other. So full disclosure, we are friends. We become friends professionally. We're not drinking buddies or anything like that. He will be the architect we will use. He did St. Clair for us, his group, and they did an excellent job. Also did John Paul II. And when I got out there, I had some things to fix from construction. That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, due diligence, which that includes the survey, the perk test for septic, for bearing tests, phase 1 environmental, is there anything buried on the property, and on, about $60,000. So we've got a little under $300,000 that we have invested so far in the project. Let me give you our financial position. This is our financial position as of April 30th. We just closed the month out, so I can give you that. Our checking account, $145,000. We have capital reserve, $135,000, $136,000. Actually, we're doing really good on that. Capital reserve we're required to have by the diocese, and that's for capital improvements when we have to do some major repairs here. We have replaced, Father Pedro started, and I finished up All 4 of the air conditioning units on the backside of this building, they're all brand new. That building is only about 8 years old, so it's okay. We replaced 2 of the 3 air conditioning units in the church building. We have 1 more to go. We've all done that out of operating cash. We haven't even had to dig into our capital reserve. General savings is $780,000, and our building fund is a little under $1.7 million. I've moved over $300,000 out of operating since I've been here, so we've actually are generating a little bit of income. So we've been able to stash a little bit more in our savings. Our liabilities, that's what we still owe the diocese for assessments and whatever, a little under $60,000. So our net cash on hand is a little under $2.7 million. So that's the financial picture of the parish right now. All right. So here's a cost estimate. Don't have a heart attack, okay? If you have eggs, take them outside. Don't throw them at me. But anyway, I just want to just be realistic. What is this thing going to cost us? Where are we going? The original building here would have been today about $8 million on the phase 1 design. If we replace this building, it'd be $6 million. It'd be $15 million in it anyway. So here's when we go to a new place. The land, $5.1 million. The building, we're working with a contractor. He has said $350 a foot. I think that's a little high. I think it's more like $250, but I just want to make sure we have the shock effect right now. Grading and parking, about $2 million. I think that's high too. But we do have to do a little bit on Highway 20 to put in a decel lane and whatever. That's a little expensive. But and the driveway to get out to East Cherokee is going to be pretty long when we. The reason we still have to work on some grading there, and so it's going to loop around. One of the things about the driveway going from the south end of the property parking lot over to East Cherokee is restriction with Cherokee County is we cannot light it. So I don't know if we're just going to close that back way out at night when it's dark, or what we're going to do. But they will. The neighbors have been stood firm on it. No lighting, no lighting. So we can't even put the little bollard lights on there. So. I know. It's been a long process. We're almost there. We got a vote in about a week or so. East Cherokee Road widening, $750,000 our portion of it. Furnishings and equipment's about $500,000. I know that that's a good number because I've done this before. Sound system, audio visual. The Archbishop always asks, how is your AV system? He asks that before he asks, where's the tabernacle? Yeah. Well, he says if people can't hear you, you're wasting your time. So no matter how good that homily is, if people don't hear it, so just spend the money you got to spend on AV. It's one of my things anyway. So I spent $180,000 in Accord, so I just pumped it up to $250 here. I'm working with a guy on that. AE fees is somewhere around 6.5% to 7% of construction costs. Catholic Construction, that is their piece for overseeing the construction on our behalf. So in an ideal world, if you had Father Victor or Father Pedro, I'll just use them. Okay, no slam on them. They don't have construction background. So in an ideal world, Catholic Construction would come out here once a week, see that everything's going on pace. I'm the contractor's worst nightmare. So because I'm still licensed anyway. So I'll be there. But that's what that's for. They still get their piece of the pie anyway, and they help organize the contracts and whatever. Total projected costs, somewhere around $19 million. Net project estimate, $19 million. We have about 2.5 we could throw into it. Sale of existing property. One of the first things I did when I got here was I had an appraisal done on this property. We've actually had somebody look at it already. Another congregation was looking to see interest in it. They said $1.2 million. But that was 2 years ago, the cost of the onion. So we'll see. And then the rectory too. So I didn't appraise that. I just looked it up on Zillow. I mean, that's what if I want to know what your houses are, so before I go to I'll just tell you I do this, okay? Before I go to your house, when you invite me to your house for dinner or something, I go on Zillow to see where you live and what your house is worth. So I know what you paid for before I walk in the door. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm just nosy. Okay. Okay. Anyway, it means we have to raise or borrow about $15 million. I don't want that to scare everybody. Okay. We're not going to try to get $15 million out of the pockets in this room. Okay. That's not going to happen. It is an opportunity for us to come together. First thing we need to do, we need to put that before the Lord and say, Lord, you have it, we don't. All right, let's pray and work on this as a team and see what we can do to work as a team to engage people in the community. Hey, we want to make a presence here in Cherokee County. We're moving over here to where people are moving with the new subdivisions and whatever. We're really interested in doing this. Lord, you can provide. We want to get some enthusiasm for the community. We're going to move within the next year one of our masses over there. I don't know where yet, but we like to. We had an offer from the funeral home there, but they only hold 200 people, so that wouldn't even work to move one of our masses there because, we want to get people from there. We have already had calls. I mean, I've gotten calls. I've had people stop me in the parking lot at Publix. Jillian's gotten calls. I've gotten emails. Well, Father, when are you going to move? When is the building going to go? Because I've seen the thing in the paper. So when are you going to? Because we're ready to go. We're ready to go. So there is a lot of interest. And one of the things we'll do as we start to move that way is we can look in the databases of parishioners that live in the geographic area there and send them postcards. We're allowed to do that. We're not allowed to poach anybody directly from another parish. Well, Father Larry said I could poach people off of St. Michael. I don't know about St. Brandon's, but Father Larry says, come and get him. It's okay, no problem. Okay, so anyway, he's full. So anyway, but we'll get some messages out there in communication. Don't be scared of the money. When I first started St. Clair, we had original cost was about $8 million. I put on my engineer cap and we did some value engineering and we got it down to $6 million. And everybody said, I went to the diocese. I said, we can't raise enough money if we use one of those capital campaign companies. We can't do it. We were taking in $500,000 at the time. And they said, well, we can get you about $1 million to $1.2 million if you run a campaign. And I looked at them and said, that's not enough. And so I went to the diocese. I said, I'm not going to use a capital campaign company. I'm going to talk about stewardship and our responsibility to tithe as Christians. And I was told by my finance council, it was 8 against 1. 8 against 1 said, you can't do it. The chair of the finance council slammed his fist on a table and said, if you're going to do Catholic instruction, you got to have a capital campaign. And I looked at him and I said, did Moses come down the mountain with that on the tablets? He didn't like that. We put in almost $3 million in 4 years and moved into our building, our first building there, in 4 years without running a capital campaign. It can be done. It needs all of us as a community. This can be done, all right? I don't know how it's going to happen yet, okay? So if you're asking for me to chart out a game plan, I don't have that in place yet. But I want to be transparent with you. This is what it looks like. This is what the funds look like. This is what we have. This is where we're headed. When I came up with the work with the architect to come up with the design for a building, I wanted to make sure that that we have what we can use. Okay, we don't want to underbuild. We don't want to overbuild, but we don't want to build a building that we're going to be out of space in 6 months. So we need to be realistic about what we're going to do as well. I know that there are some, now I'm just going to, a couple questions that came in last night. But I know that there are some in the community that are like, we just don't want to move. We don't want to move. We don't want to move. We got enough land here. I know that that's out there. I do. I know that there was an opinion in the Ledger a couple months ago about we don't need to move. People are unhappy, whatever. Don't want to get into an argument about that. If I had my way, Okay, if I were just dreaming, when I went into seminary, I wanted to be a small town priest where I did 2 masses on Sunday and I walked across the street to the rectory, okay? So it's not like I came in here saying, I want to see us move, okay? That's not what happened. But we have to live with reality. And, if I have my way, stay there in the rectory, I'm comfortable over there, walk across the street on Sunday morning, do a 9 and 11 o'clock mass, and then go back home. It just can't happen, okay? We need to be understanding, realistic. But this is about the future of this parish in the future. What do I leave as my legacy? What do I leave as a legacy? What do all of us in this room leave as a legacy to see the church continue to grow in North Georgia? So that's it. I'm going to open it up to questions now. And I will, Jillian's taking notes. We'll do a Q&A and I'll put this on. I want to wait until after June 4th when the county commission has their vote. I'm not trying to hide anything from them. I just don't need to stir up any more ruckus between now and the 4th when they have their vote. Okay, so yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That will probably be in the line of St. Michael. So they're about 1,000 people. The diocese generally wants us to build sanctuaries that are 800 to 1,000 people. So that's just the general rule. Why is that? We can't put parishes on every street corner like they did in the Northeast. We don't have the priests. But we want to limit it to about 1,000 because we don't want you to be a number. Because I just went to graduation thing at, what's that Baptist church on 92? Yeah, you guys know, Woodstock Johnny Hunt, right? Okay, if it's 7,000, we don't want that. Okay, you miss the personal, but we need to do more than 300 or 400 in a sanctuary. We get 200 over there and we can't do it over there anymore. Okay, yes, sir. Okay. All right. She asked, well, how many would hold in the future church building? So somewhere around 1,000 seats. Okay. The phase 2, not this building. And how many people come to mass every week? Here? A little under 1,000 people, between 900 and 1,000 people. How many people come to mass here on weekends? We were about 600, 650 when I got here. We're running between 900 and 1,000 every weekend now. What? How many parishioners do we have? We have 840 registered families. So do the math. It's a little under 2,000 people right now. I know we have 840 registered families. We have families that come here that aren't registered as well. All right. Anything? If they're not registered, they don't get envelopes. That's correct. Well, they can. We have some that are contributors and ask for envelopes, and we can send them envelopes. Why did the church and the archdiocese buy? Why did? You're talking here? Let me go back. Okay, why did we buy agriculture? Well, the whole site now is agricultural. So we had to go through and do zoning. The county is the one that said you need to keep some of it as agricultural. Okay, that's the county. You go talk to them. But let me go back to the map here. What? No, it's not. We could. Okay, let me go back. We talked about that. I'm not going to say what we talked about. Okay. This is mainly like wet property right here, which is the reason we had to zigzag the driveway around. So originally, the county commissioner wanted to cut it off here and say, oh, this is agriculture. I balked at it. I said, no, I won't agree to that. We'll walk away. So we leave this as O&I. This is agricultural. All of it's agricultural right now, except for the house up there and right there. So But the reason we want this tract is because we want access to East Cherokee so you don't have a right in, right out. So that's the reason. But the agricultural part was dictated by the county.
To finish my questioning, on this map, where is East Cherokee and where is Highway 20?
Highway 20 is, yeah, I think I got it better. Highway 20 is right there at the top. So we're right off Highway 20 with the building. East Cherokee is right here. So we'll have a connector driveway. We haven't drawn it in yet that goes right to the bottom of the parking lot. Yes. Why wouldn't there be mission churches from? Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's correct. Yes. Because this is, okay, why wouldn't that be a mission? Originally, remember I said, when originally they were talking about doing a mission there. And when we looked at this parish to move, this is a parish. So we just pack this parish up and move it. We don't have to call it a mission. We are a parish. We stand on our own. That's the reason. Does that answer? No, it does not work that way. That's a good question. Will we get some funds from the mission, the sending parish? Actually, no. What happened in Acworth is we're a mission off of St. Catherine. I know I started this, and the bishop said, here's a $50,000 grant to start the mission. What he didn't say was, you better get masses started pretty quick because I'm starting to deduct your payroll and your benefits off of that $50,000 grant. We never received any money from St. Michael's, from St. Catherine. We started masses on September 14th. We dug into that $50,000 grant, and by December, by Christmas, we were operating in the black, and we never looked back. So sometimes a mission is funded by the sending parish, but I know it wasn't there because I was there. Okay, John Paul II didn't. Quasi started out from St. Michael's in Gainesville, but once they spun off as a mission, they were standing on their own. St. Michael's did not fund anything once they spun them off as a mission.
So are you
Am I expecting people from St. Michael's and Our Lady of the Mountains? Yes, we are expecting people from the surrounding parishes to join us there. Yes. That's what happened in Acworth. So the majority came from St. Catherine's, some from St. Joseph, some from a lot from Transfiguration, as a matter of fact, but for whatever reason. Okay. Any other questions? Yes. Yeah. $1.6 million. That's when my understanding is when Father, where did we get the money for the building fund? My understanding is when Father Victor was here, there was basically nothing in the building fund. And somebody said he ran a campaign here, but then others have said not. Did he run a campaign here? Okay, he ran a campaign here. So it came from a campaign that had been run before, but we never used the money. So it has to sit in the building fund if that's what we ran the campaign for. I don't know. I wasn't here. Were you making contributions? Did people sign up for? No. I know that they did the study and they never got as far as here's a pledge card, sign out for that. That's right. Okay.
It was just mostly voluntary stuff from people.
Okay. Okay, but Father Victor started that when they were talking about doing the building over there, and David just said it was voluntary, so we didn't do.
Yes, most of it came from voluntarily from parishioners over the years.
Okay, But that's only been since Father Victor was here, from what I understand. Yeah, well, when I got here, it was a little under that. I put a couple 100,000 in it from savings. But yeah, when I got here, it was under 1.5. Yeah, so I'm trying to balance the needs with our expenses here, and still save some money and put it in savings. So yes, sir. No, the diocese requires, okay, has that been invested? No, the diocese requires that all of our funds go into the deposit and loan. So the diocese has their own deposit and loan. All of our savings go in there. All of the loans or the mortgages go in there. And there's a 2.25 point differential. So right now we're making interest off of our savings account at 2.25%. The mortgage, the borrowing is at 4.5%. So there's a differential. So that's how we operate the diocese deposit and loan. We're not allowed to invest it into, hey, Invesco Summit Fund, okay? It's doubled for me in the last 3 years. I would have done that, but the diocese won't let me do that, okay? Now you know who I invest with. Yes? Where's the ideal place to start? I don't know yet. Where are we going to start masses? We'll look around. There's a Macedonia Baptist Church, possibly be able to use their facility, possibly be able to use the school. When I started St. Clair, we were in a high school, and then we moved to a middle school. So the ideal thing is to use an auditorium in a high school or a middle school. But I haven't approached Cherokee County with that. I want to make sure we close on the property before we do that. I'm used to doing that. When we did Ackward, 4 years, believe me, because I drove the truck sometimes. We bought a box truck, an old U-Haul truck. We loaded up the altar, the sound system, the tabernacle, everything that we needed for Mass. We drove to the school. We unloaded everything, 3 Masses. We loaded it back up and drove it back. So I'm used to doing that. 4 years. Yeah, you wonder why I have this white hair. Okay, and Saturdays, we had 2 Masses out of the back of my Toyota Corolla in a duffel bag because we were using an Episcopal church. I did 5 Masses on the road for 4 years. Yeah, yes, sir.
Does the diocese, we're talking about a new location.
Yes.
So does the church from St. Michael's, do some of those people have to go there? Are they forced?
Are some of the people forced to go from other parishes? No. Technically, there's a lot of people at St. Michael's right now that fall in our boundaries.
Right.
Okay, our boundaries are the upper half of Cherokee County, the parish boundaries. But people are sort of like cats. They go where they want to go. Right. So you don't... I'm just quoting the Archbishop Gregory from way back when. So people go to whatever parish they want to go. Parish boundaries aren't quite as the way they were maybe 50 years ago. You lived in this parish, but yeah, you would do that. I had to go there. That doesn't happen in the diocese, mostly because we're commuter parishes. There's hardly any walk-to parishes. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Yes. That is the intersection of Cherokee and Highway 20 up there. That's Highway 20. This is East Cherokee. East Cherokee goes up and hits Highway 20 at a light. And there's a storage facility up there. There's another commercial facility up there. There's commercial property there, which is part of the reason we were able to go O&I is because we're like, there's already commercial property there. Okay. So, yes. All right, from the day the bulldozer hits a property till the day we usually about a year. Okay, so it was a year in Ackward. We started in, my mom was here, I'm trying to think. We started in August and we moved into the building the following October. So it was a little bit more than a year, usually about a year from the time we bulldoze, the tractor hits the ground until we move him. Yes. That's okay. What? We are going to stay here until this place is built.
What am I not understanding?
I'm going to move one mass over to Macedonia to start community in Macedonia. Okay. I'm not moving every mass over there. We're going to use his facilities. We're going to do catechesis here. We have 5 weekend masses. We're going to do one mass in Macedonia. We haven't said it yet, okay? So don't have any heartache about that yet. But we want to do one mass over there to start building community over there. Okay, so we're not packing up and moving everything over to a place over there yet. Okay.
There's a racetrack.
Yes.
Corner of each-
Yes.
Right behind it.
Right behind it.
How far are we from the racetrack?
Um,
Are we down Highway 20?
if you go, I didn't bring the map with me, but if you go, it's less than half a mile, just straight up Highway 20, you hit the racetrack at East Cherokee. Now, the good thing is there's a Kroger's there. There's a Taco Bell there. There's McDonald's, we don't not count them, okay? But anyway, I think there's a Waffle House there, okay? Now, the only thing that would make it better is if there were a Zaxby's there and you could get boneless hot wings, buffalo garlic, okay? That's my dream, okay? Anything. Oh, who?
We're on the far side of it.
Where? Oh, who? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, have you done any kind of survey with how many parishioners here? I know, I drove it.
An hour. Where do you live?
I live in Lake Arrowhead.
An hour? I've driven from Lake Arrowhead.
Right? Traffic did.
Okay, I've driven from Lake Arrowhead. It's not an hour. I don't want to argue with your driving, but Lake Arrowhead people are going to be the ones that are hurt the worst, and I understand that.
It's really building up in Lake Arrowhead and out 140. Also, City of Canton, I don't know if anybody's there on the road, but they are building
Yes,
the hugest complex there right now.
they are.
I just don't understand why you would move to Macedonia. Canton has a
We have looked at property. Why are we not looking? We have looked at property here in Canton. It's even, you think 5 million is high? Try to buy property up and down 140 or in Canton. It's just ungodly high. But we're also trying to relieve some traffic off of St. Michael's. Okay. So like I said, I know there's people here that don't want to move, especially Lake Arrowhead people. I get that. I understand that. But we have to understand that's where the growth is happening right now, coming north from Woodstock north. So I'm sorry about that. How many kids you have? You don't have any kids? Okay. Anybody here give a kid for a priest? No. There's your answer. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The Macedonia is in the center of the parish boundaries anyway. Yes. When we build the building, we'll move from here over to the new building. You didn't hear what I was just saying. We're going to keep masses here. We'll move one. However long it takes. Okay. Okay. Yes. 3 years, probably. Yes.